Welcome to the Christian and Daniel Show.
It's about to get real, well, you know the deal. You won't have to guess how either of them feel. Bringing up the things you don't think to know. Never knowing where the conversation will go. Just a little more than anything goes. It's the Christian and Daniel Show.
Hi, everyone. I'm Christian.
And I'm Daniel.
You ever got a point? Like, Zoom somehow corrects it, but Streamline doesn't. So I always have to do the opposite of what I think.
And this is
The Christian and Daniel Show.
welcome everybody to all of our friends watching us on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Thank you for joining us. If you don't mind sharing this on your page, for those of you watching us on YouTube, you scroll down, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. It'll let you know when there's a new show posted. And remember, we got shows, got horoscopes on Monday, Christian and Daniel on Wednesdays, Card Devo on Fridays, and put it together on Saturdays. And then we have pop-up shows every once in a while. So make sure you're following us so you know. How you doing, babe?
I'm doing good. And hi, Maricruz.
Hola, Maricruz, ¿cómo estás? Buenas tardes. Saludos, Monterrey. Ay, ahorita que visité Monterrey, ¿cómo se me tocó un cabrito, una carne asada?
I see. And choritos and burritos and tacos.
Las gorditas de harina.
Birria.
Birria that's from Monterrey.
I know. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Unas
Why are you
gorditas,
acting like I'm saying anything real?
una carne asada. Carne asada.
Ay. You know, it is interesting how every region of Mexico does, even though, technically all Mexican food, but each region has its very unique take on some dishes that could have even the same names, could be very different from region to region.
Sí, ya queremos ir. We want to go visit. You've never been to Monterrey, though, right?
Mm-mm.
No, we need to go. Un cabrito. Un cabrito.
I miss. Something we've been forgetting to do quite a bit lately is thank you to Kai Kalama, our musical director.
Oh, yeah?
And thank you to Checo Doria. I'm gonna echo Oria. No, Checo Doria as our art director, and our itinerant and always moving around stage manager.
Loriana. Hi, Loriana. How are you doing, sweetie?
Gabe Lido.
Yeah. Well, because they're in the credits now. So if y'all wait till the end in the
true.
credits, they're in the credits. But yes, we don't think of. For those of you,
That's not
Loriana,
before we acknowledge them, but if they're in the credits, that's good enough for me.
Loriana,
I noticed that change, and I'm like, oops.
she was my partner in crime in San Antonio.
I'm sorry?
She was my partner in crime in San Antonio.
Oh, okay.
The cancer conference. So
Hi, Lodiana. I'm Christian. Nice to meet you.
I have to interview her at some point on the show. But how's it going? How's your day?
Going good. It was a long day, a good day, long day. I'm coming off of such an amazing performance review with my company I'm working with. That it just made today great. Like I just really. What's nice is it's nice when you're just doing your job and you're doing it to the best of your ability and you get stark raving reviews as if you're doing something exceptional. But in my mind, I'm just doing my job. Like I've been a teacher. I've taught in the classroom. I've taught remotely. I've taught video. So for me, dealing with students is not a challenge. And I learned years ago dealing with students that they'll say things that seem personal, but they're not because they don't know me. And so I've gotten this patience with kids, like particularly in a classroom setting where I'm just like, I don't need to react. I don't need to be mad. I just stay calm and try to refocus them. And if they don't want to refocus, then I explain to them the reality of their situation. And then we move forward from there. And I thought I'm just under the radar. I'm not doing, and I got these rave reviews for my classroom sessions, which I didn't even want to do. And then I also got rave reviews for my essay review. And it was really nice. I forgot what it feels like to be at a company that actually appreciates someone who has experience, wisdom, and is doing their job and is not making a big fuss about it. Every day, look at me because I don't trust my own decision making, or I want to ask you a million questions about stuff that doesn't need to be asked about. I'm Gen X. We like to slide under the radar. Like if I don't get looked at, that's a good thing. My manager doesn't notice me till review time. I'm good with that. And I know that's like old world thing because apparently all these younger kids, they don't do that. They like make themselves very, like every day they're saying something that gets the eyes on them. And I'm like, ooh, I don't know if that's a good practice.
For everybody watching, what's the best and maybe worst review you ever got? Like, did you ever?
Oh yeah, but sometimes the worst one, the one that feels the worst and is the most negative, sometimes could be the most growth and beneficial one to you. Again, like we were talking about a few weeks ago, where failure can be a success. Failure is a form of success if you take it right, if you take it in and absorb it correctly, and transmute the energy to positive, saying, I'm just going to do better, so I don't ever have to sit through a performance review like that again.
I'm trying to think right now, what has been the worst thing that I've ever told a job? I mean, I know I've done things.
I think the worst thing for me was being told I was not honest with my budget, which was totally, in the end, wasn't true. And I was exonerated, but it's still, to have someone basically tell you you're embezzling money from the company, because that's what it is. Doesn't matter what your position is, if you have a budget from your company and you're misusing it, you're embezzling money. It's a crime. And it's a big deal if your employer comes to you and says that. But that's probably the worst thing I ever heard. And I'm sorry, I wasn't exonerated. I figured out a way to get through it without being put in jail. I was lucky, I was clever, and I found a way to get through it. It was when I was at Pacific Bell. God bless that old company.
I mean, I've gotten fired from jobs for not doing a good job. Well, when I was drinking a lot, I got fired from the attorney's office because I was running late a lot.
And there is a lot of backstory to that particular job too.
I love constructive criticism. It's the best way to learn and grow. Yeah. I've always like, what do I need to improve on?
Yeah, and a good manager knows how to give you constructive criticism, because a lot of times managers think they're giving constructive criticism when they're really just being hardcore critics.
I don't like the passive aggressiveness. I don't like passive aggressive.
Yeah. That's some bull. But yeah, I love the constructive. That was how mine went yesterday. It was so constructive, but also it's the employee's mindset too. Like you can't go into it like I'm going to defend myself. I'm going to be defensive, because that changes the whole energy and can transmute that constructiveness into just criticism and aggression. So I went in there with an open heart, open mind. I said, whatever she says, it's for my growth and it's for my benefit, and it's going to be good. And it went beyond my wildest dreams. So there is something to manifesting. I may not be the best manifester, but I guess when I really want it, I can do it.
Yep.
But also, I work my tail off to get a good review. I love what I'm doing. I really do. I've applied to do it full time. I'm supposed to hear on Friday.
So everybody send Christian some good juju.
That I get good news on Friday and get an offer.
Good news.
I would love that. Then summer, I don't have to think about summer. I'll guaranteed late.
The folks that were on Cardivo last Friday, it wasn't a big group. We only did 3 minutes. We got a candle. I did a candle on the show and put people's names on it.
I saw those pictures. I was wondering whose names those were.
Yeah, these were the folks that made it to the Cardivo show.
That's wonderful. That's very nice of you to do that.
So
nice money.
I want to hear from them. I want to hear it from these folks and see if, because I got some pretty good news this week. So
that's a money candle, right?
Yeah, the green candle for money.
Oh yeah,
for good heart too. So
what was your good news?
Well, my good news.
Well, actually, even since our last show, what has happened?
Well, for those of you that have been following us, I'm sure you've heard about the training that I did at the end of last year, in December. There's a big organization called NMAC, which is the National Minority AIDS Coalition, which is one of the largest HIV education organizations. And it's something you really like shoot for. And I've been wanting to be part of their network for years. And then last year, during the lockdown, and the reason that I couldn't do it is because their trainings are really intense. It's 5 days, 5 hours a day, so it's 25-hour training, and it's hard, and I couldn't do it. So with the lockdown, I could do it. So I did 2 trainings, and then I got into their facilitator training program. So I became a trainer, and then I ended up doing a training before the end of the year. And I think we talked about this a little bit about translating, that I was translating the training in Spanish on the spot because there were a couple of people that needed translation. Well, they took that and they decided to get a grant to translate all of their trainings into Spanish based on my doing. So then they came and offered me a job. So I have a temporary gig until August with them doing the translation for the trainings. So my work in combination with other people's work will be used to train people across the country. So it's really cool. And I have my first trip with them coming up next week. I'm going to Washington, D.C. to a meeting. So I'm really excited about that. So, yay. So we're both moving up. So we're going to send some good juju to all of you watching out there so that whatever you're aiming for. So,
Yeah.
and then there's more trips coming up during the year. So.
And then what else?
I forgot. What else?
Oh, and by the way, Daniel's little gig that he's talking about, it ain't so little, and it pays nicely.
Yes.
That's always a nice bonus when you're getting paid
it is.
for the work you're doing.
Yeah, it's kind of nice when the work is great, and then the money is great. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Vinny.
I apologize. I didn't realize someone had a car stereo that literally was shaking my windows in my house. I'm going, earthquake! Because it sounded like that. Because it was a weird vibration. It wasn't like a normal, like rap. It was weird. Anyway, I'm amazed at what the power, I'm thinking, I hear it that much and I feel it, like the foundation of my house is moving. What is that person's ears doing in the car?
Right?
Are they bleeding? I just don't get it.
But this is a good opportunity for those of you watching the show. If you have some good news you want to share with us today,
Always feel free.
Good news stage. Share your good news. What's going on in your life? And then tomorrow I'm heading to Albuquerque tomorrow for a conference too. So.
Yes, Daniel's heading on lovely Canada Air, or no, I think they're I think it's Embraer 150s. They're actually a pretty, like a mid-sized jet. We flew one when we were going to Michigan. It was the last plane we were on before we landed at Gerald Ford Airport. And they're not tiny, but they're not full size either. So it's kind of a medium size, smaller than a 737, but not as small as a regional jet, which I can't stand. Just because I'm a big guy. No matter how much weight I lose, I will never fit in a regional jet seat. I will always be the one next to me. So, but yeah, I've been working on making sure he gets his seats as good as possible and as far front as possible.
I'm checking the weather though. It's like in the low 40s, high 30s in the mornings, and then in the high 70s in the daytime.
Mm-hmm. So it's the real desert. Like that's 70 in the day, no coat. Then by the evening, as soon as the sun goes down, it freezes.
So I'm taking t-shirts and a sweater.
Yeah.
So
I'm glad you checked that. I totally forgot to mention that to you. I used to have clients in Albuquerque, so I'd go there like at least twice a month, and the weather is it's so different from California because it's extremes. It's the true desert. The whole state's a desert.
So for everybody watching, if there's anybody out there in Albuquerque, New Mexico, let me know. I'm going to be out there till Sunday. I'll be there tomorrow till Sunday. So, what is going on? You were telling me before we started.
There's my friend Wendy. The poor thing. I had recommended her to get a Vizio TV because she wanted, and I told her get a smart TV so you could actually stream shows and don't have to be as reliant on your cable. Because cable's it's expensive. She can't, she's getting to the stage where she was trying to economize. And I told her I could just add you to my accounts and then I'll log your TV, and then you can just go to these accounts and watch the shows. You don't have to have the cable. But, well, as unfortunately, every product has lemons, and she must have gotten a lemon because the TV just died the other day, and it's not even 6 months old. She bought it brand new out of the box. So it's through Best Buy, and I had told her get the Geek Squad, even though Consumer Reports and all these other agencies say don't get their extended warranty, get the warranty. It makes your life a lot easier. Because I'm going to tell you the difference between manufacturer's warranty and Geek Squad. So she got the Geek Squad on my recommendation, and we're going to go tomorrow morning. She has an appointment at the local Best Buy. She'll bring it in. If they can't get it to turn on, they'll just give her, they're going to give her a new, they'll give her an in-store credit on and Best Buy card and say, go pick out a new TV to replace it. You can pick out the exact same thing, or you can get any other brand you want if it fits into your budget, or if you get something more expensive, you can pay the difference. But it's pretty cool. And that's what they'll do, so it's so much easier. Bringing a TV in is a pain in the neck. But she had called in, and the first person she talked to made the appointment and said, you have to bring it in. She goes, I'm 71 years old. She's not ashamed of her age, so I'm not hurting in any way by saying that. And she goes, I'm 71 years old. I have a replaced hip. I'm a cancer survivor, recent cancer survivor. Is there any way someone could just come to the house and fix it or check it out? And they said, no, it's just, the person was a little rude about it and said, no, it's policy. That's policy. You have to bring it in because it's under 42 inches. Basically 41 inches or smaller, the TV, you have to bring it in to Best Buy to get it checked out. So I told her I'd help her, and so I for some reason got a notice in my email from Best Buy for her appointment. Weird enough, and I already deleted it, and now we're going back, so I have no idea what time we're going tomorrow. But anyway, so she called in. I told her, call in again and see if they can do something. Like maybe someone else would be more willing to go ask their supervisor, can we make an exception and we can just go by the home or something, because it's just kind of ridiculous. So she calls back in, and the second person she talks to tells her, oh no, the Geek Squad warranty doesn't kick in till the manufacturer's warranty is done. So you have to go, you can't go through us. Don't even bother bringing the TV in. You'll have to go through Vizio. So she calls Vizio. Vizio tells her, the only way we deal with this is we're going to send you a refurbished version of your TV, not a new one, a refurbished one. And then you have to send the one you have, the broken one, at your cost. You have to send it back to us within a certain amount of time. Otherwise, we'll charge you for the TV. And she's like, are you out of your bleeping minds? Wait, so your TV breaks on me in less than 6 months, and somehow you're going to send me a used version of this TV that's already broken down when it was brand new, and then you want me to pay for the return shipping on it to you? Oh, y'all must be on drugs. Y'all took the red pill. Now, trust me, she said very different words than what I'm saying, and just they're not appropriate for here. So luckily, she called back today a third time. But she called Best Buy this time. She got a really nice person on the phone, and the person told her, oh, that's not true. Whoever told you that about when you buy Geek Squad, the Geek Squad warranty, it supersedes the manufacturer's warranty. That's the point. Because what people don't understand with these extended warranties is with Best Buy's Geek Squad warranty, you're buying the convenience that you don't have to do what Vizio was going to wanted her to do if she didn't have Geek Squad. And that's the whole point to it, is the convenience. The Geek Squad, here, playing. That must be you. I hear she had, I'm sorry, it's distracting me. But anyway, she called them and they said, oh no, keep your appointment, bring it in the TV. Unfortunately, there's no way we can get someone to go out to you. It's just not going to happen with that smaller TV. But we can see the TV, bring it in. That's the whole point to Geek Squad. Because what you're really not paying for the Geek Squad for a better warranty. It is a better warranty than the manufacturers. But you're paying for that convenience that you can go to any Best Buy store anywhere in the nation and bring your device that's failing in, and they'll either fix it or replace it. And it's a replacement warranty, which is the best kind. So you don't have to fiddle around with sending it away to get fixed or anything. That's their problem. It's not yours. So we're going in tomorrow to do that. But she had to go through 3 reps and probably 10 plus hours of waiting on the phone and talking with people on the phone and arguing with people on the phone to get to the point that she was at in the beginning, which is you just have to bring the TV in and it's under Geek Squad. Because people don't realize the Geek Squad circumvent it overwrites the manufacturer. Like, you don't have to care about the manufacturer's warranty anymore because you get the Geek Squad for that convenience. So weird situation, frustrating. But I'm going to help her out tomorrow, and hopefully tomorrow morning we'll be able to get her TV looked at, and we'll probably end up leaving with a brand new TV just as a replacement. Yeah, I get you. I thought about that. That actually did cross my mind.
There's a couple of things in that story. Number one is if what they're telling you doesn't sound right, don't take it at value. Keep checking.
Call back. Because you're going to get a different rep. You're not going to get the same rep.
And number two, those insurances or those warranty stuff, because we get them all the time. Anything we get electronic, we get
the reason I have the nice TV I have, which is way beyond my budget, trust me, is because of the warranties. They paid for me to get new TVs when my old ones died. My old one died like within 2 months of the warranty for expiring. Yep. So I was so grateful it died when it did.
And our ice makers too were under warranty. So.
Yeah, they both are. Yeah. Well, mine isn't. That's the one thing I've bought recently that I did not buy the extended warranty on, and it's beyond the 1 year for its manufacturer. So that's my bad because I bought it at Home Depot where I've never bought an extended warranty at Home Depot, so it just didn't cross my mind. If I was at like a Best Buy, I would have bought the Geek Squad and it would have been replaced by now. I'd have a new one. So needless to say, I kind of dinged myself on that one, and I won't do that. I won't make that mistake again. I'd sooner get I'm going to get my next ice maker from Best Buy so I can get the Geek Squad. That way,
that little extra just goes a long way. And so we want to hear your horror stories too. Do y'all have a horror repair story?
Like electronics issues, like what do you when your computer fails, or when it's when anything electronic fails, which everything electronic is going to fail at some point. It's because it's built by man, and man's imperfect. Thus, our things we build are imperfect. But yeah, I'm the same way, Michael. My Vizio in my master bedroom, my Vizio is like old like that. It's like pretty darn old, and it has worked perfectly for over a decade. So that's why I was shocked that hers died within like 5.5 months. That was kind of shocking.
We have a lot of people from Monterrey watching today. Hola, Jose.
Yeah, hi. Saludos, Jose.
Yeah, well, because both my TVs they don't have warranty, but they've lasted quite a bit.
Well, yeah, the one in your living room is an Element, and it's pretty basic. Like if I had to do again, I would have gotten you a smart TV.
Emerson.
Oh, Emerson. Sorry, Emerson. And then the one in
the
your
only thing I don't like about the only thing I don't like about the living room TV is that it doesn't have a place to plug in
the audio system. It's too basic a TV for what we have. And I didn't realize that when I bought it, but I realized that, of course, hindsight's básico. So it was a nice gift, but no.
But it's a nice TV. I mean,
it just needs to be replaced with something that's compatible with what we got. And also, I'd like you to have a smart TV because it's just so much easier to watch all the shit. Then you can watch all your shows and everything in the living room. You don't always have to be in your bedroom. So, yeah, but guys, and Daniel's TV in his living room is also probably one of, next to the ice makers, the only other electronics I've ever bought without an extended warranty. I don't have an extended warranty on that one either. So if it died, it died. If it dies, it dies. But I did get it for a ridiculously fair price.
There's always that.
So unfortunately, and I didn't have the option. I bought it from someone who hadn't opened it. It had never been opened or anything. It was brand new. But I bought it from someone.
It fell up a truck. Let's just say it fell up a truck.
Exactly. I bought it from someone, and they were not willing to offer an extended warranty.
It fell up a truck, people. Gabby, how you doing? Long time.
Oh my goodness. Hi, Gabby.
Good to see you here. So for those of you that were late, we were just talking about some trips that were happening, some jobs that are going on. we're talking about electronic and horror stories. Chris, you look ridiculous.
Oh,
Párale,
I
párale.
know, right? No, thank you so much, Gabby. You're always so kind. Thank you, thank you.
Se le duele la cabeza. Stop it.
Ay, cállate.
But you know what? I'm going to say that you do look glowy. You're glowing. But it does have to do a lot with being in a good state of mind. I had an issue with an oil change, my car at Midas. I asked for high mileage oil, and the dude put in synthetic. Oh, my
Synthetic is
oil is bleeding around my engine and leaking. Either I need another engine or,
Oh, Michael. Oh,
horrible.
is this on your Hyundai? Like, you still drive the same car? Because if it's the same car, they should not have put. No, you're right. That's a huge mistake.
Yeah.
They should not have put synthetic in that engine because it was not built for synthetic oil. If it's your original car, that the white car, the white SUV, it needed to have regular oil, and that is a problem. They need to correct it. They are totally accountable.
But how can you? I mean, they put it on the receipts, right? What kind of oil they put in there? They have to.
Well, usually, but like the place you go, Daniel, for some reason they used to, but they stopped doing it. Like the spaces are there, but the mechanics aren't filling it in. I guess they forget or whatever. But yeah, older cars have to have just stick with regular oil if they've had it all their lives. Because some older cars were built before synthetic oils existed, and they were built specifically to not work on. They weren't built to work on synthetic. Synthetics are usually thinner, and they will do like you're saying. They'll start leaking all over because the oil's too thin for the engine. Oh, I know. I know. I wish I could do it all at home, but I won't. I could do it all at home. I know how to do it all, but I won't.
I have a car guy right here that knows how to do cars, but he doesn't do that.
I like to leave it to the pros, and there's warranties. So if I do something wrong,
2003.
I do car.
Yeah, with 2003,
Yeah, definitely before it's before synthetics were being put into cars as a regular thing. Like higher end cars in 2003 were getting it, like Mercedes and stuff like that. Now almost all cars are made to work on synthetic. Like my car, my Scion, my 2013 Scion, is built specifically. It even says on the cap, like only put in 0W5, which is synthetic oil.
that's pretty cool.
And then Daniel's engine is the same way. It requires synthetic. It gives you a choice of 2 synthetic oils, 2 weights. But we've been putting 0W5 in his too.
He's very picky.
She is. But yeah, the engine has to be made for it because the synthetic oil is totally different than organic oil.
What does it do? Does it eat through the seals or what?
No, it doesn't eat through the seals. It's just thinner. So if the seals have any gaps in them where normal oil wouldn't fit through, synthetic oil will seep through. And that's why he's seeing leaks. It's because even with regular oil, his gaskets were fine. They were good enough. But with synthetic oil, if you have any gaps or anything, because it's a thinner oil, it's thinner just by nature because it's synthetic, it'll find the holes in it'll find the gaps in your gaskets and start leaking all over.
There you go, folks. Today you learned about warranties and you learned about cars.
I'm not a mechanic. My dad forced me to do a lot of work on cars growing up, and I've learned.
You are welcome, people. The thing is, like when I was younger, we talked about cars before. When I was younger, I would change the spark plugs in my car. I could change the oil. Not a major tune-up, but I could do like the basic.
Well, that's a minor tune-up. If you just replace the plugs, that's considered a minor tune-up.
Leaky by the transmission, by the seals, and other things.
Yeah. If it's as long as it's not the transmission, if it's the engine, I guarantee you it's because they put the synthetic oil in there. And I would go in, I would raise holy heck. There's no way. I'd call the news station or whatever. Now the transmission, if they replace your transmission fluid with a synthetic fluid too, that can cause problems too. And in fact, some older mechanics say on older cars, if you are not to completely change out all your transmission fluid, but to change out 3/4 of it and leave a little bit in, because that old oil is what your transmission's gotten used to. and it'll keep everything working right. It's a weird thing, but this guy's an expert. He's an actual mechanic of like 50 plus years, so he knows all the different new and old cars, and he just says on older cars, don't drain the transmission completely. Leave a little bit of the old in and just replace 3/4 of it, and you'll have a better experience with your transmission now. Because he said if you change it all out, you put this fresh oil in it, say you haven't changed it, say you're overdue for your automatic transmission fluid change, then you might start experiencing your transmission might start slipping with this new clean oil, which is a clean, not oil, but clean transmission fluid that it's not used to. And that slipping is actually a problem, and that's an even more expensive fix.
Cool.
Anyway, how does Christian know these things?
You know, right?
Yes.
It's good to know the information. I did want to say, because I know she's watching, because she popped up a minute ago. My sister Nancy had her birthday recently. She had her birthday recently.
Yes. Oh, yes. Happy birthday again. We both spoke with her on her birthday, and then they celebrated Saturday at our nephew's house, Rob Roberts.
She's a St. Patrick's baby, so she just turned. I'm gonna say it because she looks really good for her.
Oh my Lord!
She turned 60.
Again, almost everyone in his family looks amazing. They have good genes. Good genes. They stay cute like this.
Hola, guapo.
Hola guapo.
Hola. So you do that, and then yeah, no, a whole new.
I just saw
new box.
Oh yeah.
What do you think?
But I saw the picture of the entire, like all the family that was there, the birthday party picture at Rob's house, and they very funnily photoshopped. Is it not Robert? Abraham in there. Well, which one went to Air Force? It was Abraham. Abraham.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they photoshopped Abraham in, like he was taking a selfie on his phone. He's in his uniform, and I'm all, oh, that's so cute. Like, it was very cute. And it was great to see everyone. Most of the family was in that picture. And oh, Mateo, our youngest grandnephew. Oh, he's gotten so big, and he even has this look on his face. He's just like, it's like half the family was smiling and the other half wasn't.
It's like he already knows that he's going to be obnoxiously handsome. Like he already knows that. He's like, I don't have to smile. You smile because you see me. I don't smile because I see you. Oh, that's a good one. I'm too handsome to smile. You smile
because you see me.
Because you see me. You're welcome.
Yeah, he's gonna be from what I understand, he's already very interesting young man.
Right.
And I totally love that. And
totally congratulations. It's wait a minute, who? It's your birthday tomorrow? Oh, well, happy birthday.
Oh, Gabby.
Cumpleaños.
Oh, it must be so horrible. Now you're gonna be 20. What are you gonna do?
Oh, that's all him. Yeah, I can see it.
Lipstick.
Guess what?
It's the rule. You can never have enough lipstick. Oh, he's ready to put on more lipstick.
You're welcome. We miss you. We miss you around here.
Yeah. And what, Nancy? Guess what? What?
Yeah. Who's pregnant?
Huh?
Who's pregnant?
Oh, dear Lord, no. No, that would be so crazy.
Who's pregnant? That's always my guess.
I don't know anyone who wants to be pregnant. We're trying. Of course, I don't know. In Dan's family, I don't think trying's an issue.
I'm waiting for her to talk. Novela.
We gotta go on with the show. She'll type it in, and but no, it was good to see Mo. Every time I used my air fryer, I think of Mo.
So for those of you who don't know Spanish music,
I don't, but I know that.
Alejandra Guzman is a very famous singer. She's the daughter of very famous Mexican actors. And Paulina Rubio has been around since I was a kid. And Paulina Rubio, she was actually a judge
Yeah.
On X Factor. She was a judge on X Factor.
I recognize her name, so I know it has to be something like
Well,
that.
Olivia was a judge on X Factor. So if you
That's
watch
right.
X Factor for a while, she was the Mexican judge on there with the big blonde hair. She kind of looks like Britney Spears.
Oh yeah.
She's a mixture between Britney and Christina. She's got that look. But Nancy goes. Don't you go to her like every year? Isn't that like your thing?
Or almost every year.
Every year. So.
But the best thing about live concerts is they're not necessarily always the same. Yes, they're going to always play the standards, everyone's favorites. Because why would it's like going to a Britney Spears concert? You're going to hear, all the real typical pop hits, and then it's always towards the middle or end when they start to get experimental. Let's try some of our new stuff. Let's try.
Almost. I did go see her in concert here in LA. I saw Alejandra Guzman like 10 years ago.
Wow. Like right around when we met.
Yeah. And do you remember my friend Rita?
Yeah.
She went with me. We went to go see her, and she put on a really good concert. She does a good concert. She's an 80s rocker, Mexican rocker, but she's
and that's what it's all about.
This year, so. Who was your favorite concert? Do you remember your favorite concert?
My favorite concert was the Celebration Tour Madonna. Oh my Lord.
But that wasn't your first. That was your favorite.
No, that was not my first. My first was Wham! And that was before I even graduated high school. I think I was a sophomore in high school and I went to Wham!
Yeah.
Ever since Daredevil, not Daredevil, Deadpool, when he goes, it's not Wham, it's Wham, because it has the exclamation mark. I'm he's right. It's not just Wham, it's Wham. So.
What? You're going to Alejandra and Paulina too?
Yeah, my sister. It must be the American tour, North America.
Tour, yeah, it must be because they were on hold for the whole year.
That is so awesome! Yay! Happy birthday, Gabby! Wonderful, wonderful, and I hope you enjoy your concert too. That sounds like it's going to be fun.
My last concert, Fluffy, on stage in a tour. Oh, okay. You went to a comedy show?
Mm-hmm. But yeah, and that Madonna Celebration, I think that was her peak. I went and
saw as an adult. My first concert as an adult, I was like 21, was Whitney Houston. Right after "I Will Always Love You."
Yeah, and before the crazy paths.
Yeah, that part. It was in Dallas, and the only reason I remember that one like so much is because I was moving into my first apartment with my then boyfriend. And it just happens we moved in the night of the concert. So we moved everything that we could in, went to the concert, and then came and spent our first night at the apartment.
Aww.
And
okay, how horrible.
The concert, the best thing about that whole was the concert. But
the best thing about that whole night was when Whitney.
Yeah, that whole part of my life, that was the concert. But my very first concert, like as a teen, that I remember going was Menudo. This is in Monterrey.
Oh my G.
It was like 1985 or 86.
It's insane. So Ricky was still in it.
No, this was before Ricky Martin.
Oh, before,
yeah. This is
wow.
Before. And
so this is like the original, like old Menudo.
Yeah, I was original Menudo before they went American. Before they went American, and the neighbors across the street. This is when I was living with Juanita in Monterrey. The neighbors across the street had two little girls, and they were going with some friends. And how dare you, Gabby? I'm not even going to post that on there. I'm not even going to post that. And they needed somebody to go chaperone, so I went and chaperoned them, pretending that I didn't want to go, but I so wanted to go to the Menudo concert.
Oh, yeah, you did.
How dare you, Gabby? How dare you, ma'am? I was born in 86. ¿Cómo te atreves?
I was a sophomore in high school when
I was 15 years old. Shut up.
High school in 88. That is insane.
My first cousin with promo Offspring at the strip music festival.
Oh, that would be pretty cool.
I don't know Offspring.
Oh, I know Offspring. Heavy metal, like rock.
Your first concert was Mana? Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
I saw It's Manana.
But you know, other than like seeing people play at like events and stuff,
Yeah.
like going to the flea market and they would have like stuff. In the rodeo, well, in Texas, when I lived in Houston, we used to go to the rodeo a lot, which just
Yeah.
ended. For those of you in Houston,
I'm not a big concert goer. Like I said, I basically went to Wham, and I was actually on a date with a girl for Wham.
No way. You did not take a girl to.
I did. Her name was Pam Hilton, and she ended up marrying one of my classmates. Funny, and they're still married to this day. Mark, who was a fantastic guy. God bless you both. But God bless her for being gracious enough to go out with me, because she was a gorgeous, very, very beautiful, blonde, blue-eyed, gorgeous woman, young lady at that time. And but yeah, I took her on. That was our date. Was going to Wham. And
tell me you're gay without telling me you're gay.
And what's funny is Katrina and the Waves opened for Wham, and they sang their song, the one everyone knows, whatever, something on Sunshine. And then they started to sing their other stuff, and we booed them off the stage. Like they got booed off the stage because their other stuff was so horrible, So the Wham came out a little sooner than they were planning, but we got that much more Wham. Wham!
Wake me up.
I know. Wake Me Up was the first song they sung. I wonder why Christian liked that video so much. I can't imagine why I liked it.
No, Sin Banderas. Didn't they stopped performing, right? Sin Banderas, Nancy?
Yeah. Sin Bandera.
Sin Banderas. They're this duet guys.
No, was that the type of music they played though?
Sin Banderas is the name of the band, of the group.
But I thought, isn't that the name of music, or am I thinking of something else? I must be confusing it with something else.
Yeah. I was supposed to work at Vicente Fernandez concert. Wow.
Ooh. Oh, but you got replaced.
Oh, wow. And then
he
died.
Came back.
And then he died. They came back. I was just watching something where they were like El Final or something like that. So I'll play you a song. When I get
what amazes me with these professional singers is they could be 100 years old. Somehow that singing voice basically sounds the same their whole life. Like, I mean, it does change a little bit. Like the timbre a little bit changes, like particularly when they're very elderly. You can hear a little difference in it, but it's still amazingly similar.
I was just thinking that because I was listening to some Spanish singers while I was working earlier today, and they played the song from, for those of you that know Spanish music, Pandora. Pandora was singing a song when they were first started, a live performance, and they sounded very light. And then, like almost back to back, they played the same song, but at their last concert that they did as adult women, and it sounded heavier. And I was like,
yeah, I mean, it's inevitable. Your voice cords, everything's going to change a bit as you age. They're going to also thicken a little bit too, whether you like it or not. Which is why a lot of times our voices when we're young are very different than our voices when we're older. But an example I saw recently was when I watched Alanis Morissette's documentary. It was, by the way, fantastic. If you're a fan of her, oh my gosh, it was so good. But Alanis sounded really different. Like Alanis Morissette today, her voice is a little more soulful. It's a little deeper. She sounds a little, like not a lot. It's like very little difference, but it's still, there's a difference. But it amazes me that she can just start singing any of her songs right off the top of her head without any preparation, because she's from the age before the ridiculous auto-tune. So she actually.
Wow. But you know, they're coming up with a new album. They're coming up with a new Selena album.
How?
They took, okay, well, first of all, Nancy, Pandora's probably good, but they took a bunch of old songs that she like demoed.
But they were never released.
They were never released.
Ooh.
They took some songs that she recorded when she was a young girl, and they digitally tweaked them to raise her voice to sound like she did before she died.
And they also had to probably refine the sound too, because it's probably.
Yeah. So talking about the voice, but they took childhood songs of hers and tweaked the the sound to make it sound like her when she died. So
Are
they're
we-
coming up with a new album.
Are we coming up on a significant anniversary of her death?
Yeah.
Because I figure that's why they're going to release an album. It would be because it's like the 25th anniversary since since she was murdered or
It just
since her life ended.
it was just the anniversary of the movie too.
Is there another movie coming out?
No. The movie was in 1997.
That was
So it's 25 years ago.
okay. So that was that was the one with Jennifer Lopez that everyone was like,
Right. So it's the anniversary of the movie right now.
okay. So because I figure there's some anniversary, that's why they're going to release an album. All groups do that. Like all people do that. So. Oh wow! Really? That's crazy. Michael Moran's comment?
My dad was hired
That's
to be the
insane.
concert audio engineer for Crush of Robin. Really? Míralo?
Oh, cool.
Wow.
I tell you, boy, that Yolanda messed things up.
April 3rd, is April 3rd the anniversary of
April
her
21st?
death?
I don't know, actually.
Because I still remember where I was. When they talk about, do you remember where you were the day they died?
Yeah.
Selena is one of the few people that I remember where I was the day she died. That day we heard she died.
Yeah,
In
because
fact, I was with Nancy and her family.
yeah,
I just moved. I moved down to South Texas from Dallas in March, and then the day she died, I don't know if she remembers this, but we were out buying, looking for like big kid beds for Marcy. She had a baby bed, and they were getting her a new bed. And at the furniture store, all the TVs were on the news about Selena,
oh,
and that's the day I remember being at the store watching that. Like, oh,
okay. And this is going to be big news. March 31st, basically next week. March 31st is the 25th anniversary of Selena's passing.
That's why it's coming out.
That's why they're doing it. I knew it had to be something with her like that. So, but it has been 25 years. Like I sometimes, just like with many young celebrities or actors or singers who don't make it to their later years, I frequently think, where would they be? Can you imagine where they would be? But it's March 31st, not April. For her death. I don't know about the other part.
But I mean, all these years, and she's still relevant.
25 years, and people still listen to her music.
You first Poncho Sanchez. I was looking down. He was working it out.
Aw.
Who's Poncho Sanchez? I have to look him up. Anyway, are you ready?
Oh, sure.
It's
Alexa, turn on Decibel.
Okay.
Ah, there we go. Well, everyone, my picture of the week for this week is Lucy and Desi. It's a documentary directed by Amy Poehler. It has actual voice recordings that Lucille Jr. and Desi Jr. Allowed Amy Poehler to use in this documentary. So you're actually hearing Lucille Ball's real voice, not her acting voice, her real voice, and you're hearing Desi's voice, and they're actually talking about their relationship when they met. They did a lot of audio recordings, and then when video recordings became, I guess very expensive, but they're celebrities, so they could afford it at that time. They started doing video, and this documentary is incredible. I did not know Lucille Ball's history, like they described, like as they told it in this, and I didn't know her family's history, and I didn't know Desi's history and what he went through, and how his family was super wealthy and prominent in Cuba before the revolution, and that because his parents were attached to that regime when the revolution happened is why they had to leave. And I never knew. In this documentary, they said Desi is not an immigrant. He's a refugee. There's a difference. The difference between an immigrant and a refugee is an immigrant wants to be here. An immigrant came here willingly, and a refugee was forced to come here and still wants to go home and misses home and never wanted to leave home. Blew me away. And then learning about how much they loved each other even after they divorced and what led to the divorce. And it was incredible. And hearing them, the actual voices of these two individuals describing these times, describing the situations, was incredible. It was so impactful. I cried like a baby for the last part of it because it's dealing with, the passing of Desi and how that affected Lucy and Lucille. And it's amazing to see their children today talking about it and what they remember, but how these tapes have introduced them to a whole other side of their parents.
Good.
Oh,
I'm gonna watch it. I haven't watched it, so
you can see it on. I think it's on. I didn't write it down, but I think it's on Amazon Prime.
it sounds like an Amazon.
Yeah, it's Amazon Prime.
My pick of the week.
Don't mistake it. It's a documentary directed by Amy Poehler, not
the movie.
Not the movie. Anyway,
Thank you. My pick of the week is a show called "Is It Cake?" For those of you that have watched the show for a while, know that I love competition shows and I love food competition shows, and I love cake too. So if you like cake, if you were a fan of Nailed It, you're gonna really like the show because these guys are real professionals. They make cakes that look like real things, and the competition of it is they have to create these cakes, and then celebrity judges have to identify the fake things versus the real cake things. Anyway, it's really interesting the way they create the cakes and how these bakers make things. And some of the shows has a hamburger, and there's like a bag of money, and all these really good things. So if you like baking, if you like decorating, if you like competition shows, if you like to watch just things that require a lot of brain, watch this. It's really entertaining. It's really fun. It's on Netflix, and the host of the show is Mickey Day, one of the actors from Saturday Night Live. So if you watch Saturday Night Live, you know who he is. And the guest judges are just like an array of celebrity judges from other shows and actors. But it's really entertaining. It's just a good time killer. So go check it out. It's on Netflix, and it's called "Is It Cake?" It's a good show.
I think it's Mikey Day.
Mike, what did I say?
Mickey.
Yeah, Mikey. Yeah.
It's Mikey Day. I think
The second concert with my dad was the band War. The famous song is the song "Lowrider." Low Rider. The George Lopez thing song. Yeah. Low Rider. I think every Mexican person, every Chicano, every Latino,
Chicano is the right word,
knows that song. Like you have to know it. Just a reminder, we're not going to be here next week. I'm going to be in Washington.
Just a reminder.
A reminder for me. Letting you folks know we're not going to be here next week. I will be in Washington, D.C., so
being very important.
Doing very important Washington, D.C. business, just to let you know. But remember, I want to remind you guys, that's where the thing is. Remind y'all that we have our shows, Chris and Daniel on Wednesdays, the Card Deep on Fridays. We put it together on Saturdays, which will not be on this Saturday because I will be in Albuquerque. Remember to go check us out at littlemexicanproductions.com, hashtag Little Mexican Productions Inc. And I do want to send a big shout out. I forgot to mention about the pop-up that I did last Sunday, 2 Sundays ago. Our friend Sergio, the Güero's food truck in LA, who has been on Put It Together, invited me to his pop-up, and I ended up doing readings. And I will be back next month. For those of you in the LA area, I will be back Sunday, April 10th. And it's over in the...
Isn't it the Fashion District?
Fashion District, yes.
And Gabby, we love you too.
Love you too, sir. Thank you.
Yes, Daniel, best of luck on your bougie
Okay.
travels to DC.
You know, I feel very fortunate. I mean, some of you know my story for years, especially my sister knows my story for years. Where I was 21 years ago when I was diagnosed, and where I am now, and um, I'm pretty proud of myself having taken my diagnosis and turned it around and made a career out of it.
Yep. And you know, folks, I'll tell you, when I first met Daniel 10 years ago, and he was doing all these things for free, I'm like, you have to get paid, you have to get paid. And he's all, no, there's a plan, it's leading somewhere. And I totally doubted him in those early days. And I can tell you now, like everything he was telling me was the plan has completely come to fruition. And, it taught me, that's a heavy dose of humility to think, wow, he really was. He wasn't kidding. He was working towards something, but it took some suffering before you could get to the more entertaining side where you're being paid to do everything rather than just doing everything for free because no one knows who you are. And I guess that's true in almost every industry.
Aw, thank you.
It's true in almost every industry. You have to struggle. Most actors were working in coffee shops, washing dishes in restaurants. Like almost every A-lister has a story of working somewhere you would never guess in a million years they worked, doing work you never thought they'd do, but because they had to pay their dues. That was part of paying their dues.
Aw, thank you. That's quite a compliment. Which reminded me, I forgot to tell you about this. Betsheva. Remember Betsheva, the comedy show that we went to?
The what?
Betsheva.
Oh yeah. At the Jewish Recovery
Yes. I've been invited back this year.
House.
Yes.
It's nice. They ask you back every. Ooh, we could get some of that.
Bread, yes. Challah bread.
Everybody, we found challah. We found out what challah is. We found out how delicious challah is, and I think it is around. They were selling it, and they were selling it for like what, $1 for 2 or so. It was
at the end because they were trying to get rid of it. And for those of you,
this year I'm bringing a grocery bag, and we're gonna get challah.
My friend Cameron, who is associated with the Betsheva Temple, I did a pre-show for them several years ago, and then the next 2 years I did stand-up. Well, and here's how the universe works. I was just bitching to the universe. I'm like, I haven't done any stand-up. Nobody calls me anymore. Yeah. And
he really did, folks.
He's one of the people that I check in with every Monday. For those of you that are on my check-in list, he's one of the people I check in, and he wrote back. He was like, hey, do you want to do the show again this year? I was like, I was just bitching about that. I'm like, yes, I will do it. So I will put up a flyer on my pages and let you know where you can purchase tickets. It benefits the rehab that's next to the.
It's part of the temple. It's
challah bread. It's
this amazing bread. It's this dough, and you could put fruit. You could put chocolate chips, which is the one I personally like. Nuts, anything into it, or just plain. They take it, you roll it all out, and then you start to braid it in a very specific way, and you bake it in that braid, so it looks like this lumpy bread, but it's all braided through each other. It's really beautiful to look at, and it's succulent. I don't know what the recipe is personally, but I have friends. I know people who make fresh challah bread for the holiday,
and it's actually spelled this way.
Yeah, challah. Yeah, it doesn't. It's not. Yeah, it's challah or it's challah.
And it's challah bread is a special bread of Ashkenazi Jewish origin, usually braided and typically eaten on ceremonial occasions, such as the Shabbat and major Jewish holidays. Ritually acceptable challah is made of dough from which a small portion has been set aside as an offering. And it's kind of twisted, but they put
braided
raisins and chocolate chips and all kinds of stuff. And
it's hilarious that you're repeating everything I just said.
Yes. Well, I was reading it from here. But last time, which was 2019, they had it out for the comedians in the green room. And you could take.
Well, I think it was intended to be, in the comedians' green room.
Right. And then
they didn't
take it.
They weren't really intending to sell it out front. but it was there, and they were charging only like $1 a loaf. It was so cheap.
It's kind of, except that the king's bread is round.
Yeah, this
one is just.
And king's bread is more cake than bread. This is.
But it's delicious. They make it there at the bakery.
Yeah.
It's yummy, but we get some so hopefully we'll get some.
Hopefully, I hope no one takes it again, and we can just take the whole basket.
Because I waited till the end, and I was like, I'm taking it with me. So.
Yeah, we took every. We don't care. It could be onion.
There was no shame that day. No shame. All right, folks,
I'm actually bringing a grocery bag with me. One of the cloth bags in with me this time. I'm not gonna play.
So just to remember, we won't be here next week.
We'll be back the week after, right?
We'll be back the week after. Thank you so much for joining us. Y'all be good. So many faces that we hadn't seen in a while, so we're glad that you guys are here.
Yes, we love seeing you folks.
And we'll see you next time.
In 2 weeks. Bye. Bye.